From the hollers and hills of West Virginia, it's Heavenly Hills Homestead with another episode.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Hold it there. The hollers and hills of West Virginia, it's Heavenly Hills Homestead with another episode. What we doing?
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Smack it. Good. We got a little too hot in here, guys. Look. Oh, it's almost 120 in here.
Yeah.
Good night of living. December, almost 120 in the greenhouse.
Hundreds.
Ooh, lolly. I gotta turn the fan on. All right, get out of here. I gotta turn the fan on. So, I've contemplated different techniques for trying to keep this warm in here, okay? And there's one technique that I really think would work best. And what you would do is you would set a huge pile of compost right here, right? And I've got several piles of compost going. And you put that down, and then what you would do is you would put some ductwork in the bottom. Okay, so essentially have your duct work, you know, like right here at my foot, going into there, okay? And on top of the duct work, you would bury your duct work, build like a box around it, a wooden box, so it don't, you know, crush it, and then bury it up, okay? And then once you've buried it with your compost, you run it in, and then you put an inline fan, inline ductwork fan like right here, okay? And then you finish piping into the greenhouse, and you turn your fan on, and the fan will pull the heat out of the compost pile into your greenhouse. And then all you're doing is running an electric fan, but you would have to make sure you're getting this, you know, pretty hot, you know, at least hot enough to keep it from getting, you know, frosted at night. See, I mean, it probably have to keep it up 60, 65 degrees at nighttime at the minimum. It would have to keep it at 60, 65 degrees. I mean, you'd have to keep that pile at like over 100, you know what I mean, and pipe it into this. And it would have to be a pretty substantial compost pile in order to generate the heat needed to go in here. And that's kind of what I'm looking at doing. I'm looking at the possibility of getting a compost pile, getting the duct work and all, and then piping in some heat. Will it work? I have no idea. I mean, it might work, it might fall all to pieces. I don't know at this point, but I think it might be worth a shot. So, as best I can tell, that's probably what I'm going to end up doing. I do have the oil-filled heater coming, and they say it's pretty good, you know, whatever. But I don't know. I just think maybe we should do the inline fan and the ductwork and the compost pile. So look for that in the next couple of days, us doing that. I'm trying to get that figured out and situated and hoping that it'll do right. But anyhow, let's go on in here, see how much the temperature dropped. We went and checked traps. The trap was empty. So let's go in here and see. Well, it's dropped down to about 98, and it's still hotter than all get out in here. I do need to water some stuff, it looks like. It would appear some stuff is needing watered. Alright, let's see what we got. Well, we got 1 mil bloom air. Got another mil, 2 mils back there. So, I don't know, it's not looking too awful shabby. So, this here's all twisted and mangled up on it. Look at that thing, good 911. What is going on with this? It's like a, don't see that? That's some weird stuff there. I don't even know what that is. That's odd if I ever seen it. Okay. Get some water in here on this stuff. Then we'll get on to the next after I water it all. Let's undo this here so the water can all run out. Stretch this one out there. We got all the stuff watered now, so should be good until, I don't know. I mean, we're gonna have to water some more, of course, this year or this winter, but what we did just now, since it's nice and pretty and warm, that should get us, I would think, into February. I would think, maybe, hopefully, we can get into February, because I hammered it down with water. We're not looking too awful bad in here. Need to green up some stuff, okay? And pumpkin plants look like they're dying desperately for some good stuff. So we're going to start hammering them with some bloom and stuff. I'm just gonna let that fan run, and tonight what I'll do is I'll come in here, not tonight, I'll come in here and fertilize this evening, probably about 4 o'clock or so. That way it's still good and warm. Ain't got nothing to worry about. And so yeah, about 4 o'clock we'll come in here, we'll fertilize, and that gives us, you know, everything time to settle and dry, and gives that fan time to work. We're gonna close it up. As you can see, it's just about 80 degrees. It's 84, I think is what it is in there. So it's dropped quite a bit after I watered it. So we're gonna shut this up and get the heat back on, you know, so that everything can grow good. But I watered it really good with well water. Well water does extremely well. Got lots of nutrients in that well water, minerals that is and stuff. So, oops, I got a pea that's been uncovered. Can't have that, don't want that. You gotta go in the ground there, buddy. So do you, there you go. Grow, grow, grow. Yeah, so anyhow, and get this button back up, and then I got to talk to you about what I did inside there too. So while I pick this trash up here out of the yard, and tell y'all what I've done. So the other day, I was trying to grow one of these giant beans inside in my tote. And there's a reason for that, because beans and peas were legumes, or however they say it. I don't know exactly how they say it. I think it's legumes or something like that. They're natural nitrogen fixers, which means they pull, pretty much they pull nitrogen out of the air. It's a little bit more scientific than that, but they turn, they turn, can't remember the name of it. Let me tell you, here's what it is. Beans and vetch and clover and peas, some other stuff, have a symbiotic relationship with the soil and the soil's bacteria. There is a bacteria that lives at the roots of the legumes, or whatever you call it, Legumes, I think is how it's spelled. Anyhow, the bacteria pulls nitrogen from the air and the soil, okay, and feeds it to your peas and your beans and stuff like that, all right? And because of that, they are nitrogen fixers, all right? Well, in exchange for the nitrogen that the bacteria feeds to the beans and peas and vetch and clover and stuff, in exchange for the nitrogen, those plants in turn feed carbohydrates to the bacteria that the bacteria need to survive. So that's why it's a symbiotic relationship. The bacteria feeds the nitrogen to the plant, and then the plants in turn, and that's at a root level, and then the plants in turn feed the bacteria the carbohydrates they want to and need to grow. So anyhow, that's why I planted some beans in there in my patch, in my little tote in there, because I wanted the beans. Look at this. I got as many beans as I want. I didn't even Lord have mercy. Thank the Lord for that. I got a bunch of them. I thought I only had the 98 in there, but I tell you what I am upset about. I don't know where my purple teepees went. Sorry, I got off track there. I just seen them and thought, hey, I got plenty of beans. I don't know what I'm doing. Anyhow, yeah, my purple teepees are missing. I don't know what Jaden did with them. I don't know if he fed them or if Annie took them out and fed them to the, who knows. But I'm missing a whole thing of them. Ain't no beans over here, it don't appear to be. So, good on that front. I need to get in here and start cleaning up all this mess. And I will eventually. Is this a carrot? You gotta be kidding me. How did a carrot get over here? How in the world did a carrot get over here growing? That is wild. How did that happen? I didn't plant carrots over here. Pull this weed up. Y'all see that thing? That's a big carrot too. That's a big carrot. Look at that thing. Huh. Beats me how it got there. That's crazy. Looks like it's growing good though. Black plastic must be the trick. Anyhow. So I planted beans in my tote in there. I planted these great big old beans, and they're like this big. They're not the long runners or the runner beans. They're a different type of bean. It's a bean that the neighbor gave me, and it's kind of like a lima bean, but it was in the family for it's been in the family for over 150 years, and they've just bred it and 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 stuff. So they very seldom give seeds out from it or whatever, and he knows I like to grow and stuff, so he gave me some of the seeds off of it, and I only had 4 or 5. Well, I put one in, and that one didn't sprout, so that left me with 3 or 4. I thought, well, I don't want to do it, but anyhow, I wanted to make sure I had plenty of extra seeds for next year. I didn't want to plant just 3 or 4. I wanted to have a crop full. So I thought, well, if I grow one plant this winter, have success with it, I in turn can get a bunch to plant for spring and summer next year and have a bunch of these I can grow, right? So, because you can eat them as a bean, or you can dry them out and eat them as a dry bean, okay? So anyhow, I planted another one, and then I got to remembering, well, this is good because this is going to help my plants that are in here. The roots and stuff are going to pull the nitrogen. The bacteria is going to pull that nitrogen down from the soil and from the air, and it's going to feed my other stuff that's in here. And that's why a lot of people will grow beans with different things, right? And because like corn, they'll grow beans and corn together. Not only because it helps the beans to climb and give them something to be up on without having to trellis them, but it's also putting nitrogen into the corn, right? So anyhow, I just thought that was pretty interesting and stuff, and I just wanted to share that because some of you guys don't know that. Some of you guys don't know that you can put beans in with stuff like that and get a better, healthier plant because it's feeding it nitrogen. So I just thought maybe we would share that little tidbit with y'all today. Man, what do we got going on here? Good night, 11. Would y'all look at that turnip? My gracious. Should I pull them? Nah, man, look at them things. They're huge. They probably need a shot of fertilizer too. Let me come out here and pick all them Kentucky Wonder beans and get them dried out. Well, they're already dried, just put up, I guess. I don't know where I put all my purple TP beans. That's crazy. Let's see what we got going on here. They're trying. I don't think they're gonna do it. Y'all need to come on and make a head. Let's see what these rutabagas is looking like. I need to go through here and pick some of the bigger stuff out of here and kind of thin some of it up a little bit. That right there is what you want. You want that or bigger. But we ain't getting that or bigger. Then there's grass, and I ain't got no idea how this grass is taking over in this. It's just beating all I ever seen, the grass. Grass is crazy. Yeah, see, that stuff's just so thick, it can't grow. Maybe I should pull some of it up. This carrot over here is just massive. I want to pull it up, but I'm not going to. I'm going to leave it right there. This one here is pretty big too. So is that one. Alright. And them yellow beets didn't do a thing. Golden beets, whatever you call them. Alright, well, on to the next, I reckon. Fertilizing day. All right, fertilizing fertilizer. So, what are we going to do today? So we're going to give them a little bit of nickel. We're talking about the plants in the greenhouse. We'll give them some bloom juice. Give them a little bit of calcium. A little bit of pure amino acid. A little bit of the microgenics. Okay. This is the all your micros, okay? Your magnesium, manganese, calcium, zinc, copper, boron, nickel, and iron. A little bit of liquid compost. This stuff is awesome. I kid you not. I love the liquid compost. And my favorite of all, the cow mag. Give them a little bit of that. So, guys, just got done talking to them. They're going to be giving me a coupon code, a permanent coupon code, where you guys are going to be able to go on their website, on Prevegenics. You'll be able to buy their stuff. I'm pretty sure it's for Opulent Blends, Prevegenics, okay? You'll be able to put that coupon code in, and you guys are going to be able to save 10% on all your purchases if you use the code that we're going to be giving you. I already know the code, but I'm going to wait until they give me the code for a for sure thing, but I know it's for sure. They're just... They're gonna, just gonna wait on them to tell it to me when their website is up and ready for the coupon code. But we're gonna be using that coupon code, and you guys are gonna be able to save 10% using that coupon code through me if you guys buy Opulent Blends or Prevegenics. So that's pretty cool. But we're gonna get all this stuff mixed up, and we are gonna be using a little bit of our other sponsor, which is Trident's Pride. Just Sensational's Bare Ground, Trident's Pride, Liquid Fish Soil Enhancer. We're gonna be using a little bit of that as well in our fertilizing mix today for our pumpkin plants and all that we have in there growing. So let's get to it. All right, guys, so we're going to give y'all the doses. And 2-gallon jug there we're going to be using. And we're going to start with our nickel first. So for 2 gallons on our nickel, we're going to do a half of a teaspoon. Half a teaspoon on the nickel. Okay, guys? Half a teaspoon of nickel. And look, guys, the reason why I'm using this stuff, all right, for those of you who are wondering, the research has been done, and everything that has been done for this bloom juice, we're going to do a teaspoon, full teaspoon on the bloom juice. Research has been done on this stuff has been extensive. They've been in business for a long time, and they were for commercial growing, okay, and they weren't for the backyard gardener. All right, these guys were doing commercial stuff long ago, and they've been making this stuff for a very long time. They've spent countless dollars and countless hours on research and development of this stuff. And guys, it is the most systemic stuff that you'll ever get your hands on. I'm gonna do 1 tablespoon of calcium. Take for instance this calcium. You know how hard it is to get calcium uptake? Listen to me, if you guys are out here and you got calcium nitrate and you're putting it on your stuff, well, it's good if you got it in the ground. It's great for your ground. What it is not good for is trying to use it as a foliar. So all these people that's saying it's very soluble, you know, as if you can foliar feed it, and they're telling you can foliar feed their product, amino acids, we can give it a full tablespoon. Anyhow, they're telling you guys that you guys can use their calcium nitrate to put, you know, through a sprayer and spray it on your stuff. So they're sadly mistaken. Their stuff is not. Their stuff might be water soluble in the fact that if you put water in it, it melts. Okay, but it's not water soluble to the leaf. You're not getting transition from the leaf and into the vascular tissues of that leaf, and you're not getting down into the stems of the plant and then down to the roots of the plant. Okay, which is where the nutrients are supposed to go. And though we all like to foliar feed, we're foliar feeding, and we're getting anywhere between 50 and 90% of the stuff we feed is not making it to the daggone roots. It ain't even making it past the leaf. I want y'all to think about that. We're going to give a half on this, half on that for the cow mac. So you think about this, y'all. We go and we get copper. We think that copper is all equal, right? And we think, well, we'll give a full dose on this one here. Liquid compost. Liquid compost, 1 full ounce. There's a half ounce on the cow mac. Anyhow, we think that somehow, some way, our copper is all the same. Yeah, we buy copper fungicide and we think it's the same as putting copper on there, right? Well, it's not. And all coppers are not made the same. Do you know how hard it is to get copper into the plant and actually make copper to where it is able to be absorbed by the plant and into the tissues of that plant? So here, I'm going to explain to y'all about this copper stuff. 1 full ounce of the Microgenics 0.75. So let me explain this to you guys in the way y'all understand it. So let's take my hand here, all right? We're gonna make it we'll make it the leaf. We'll make this the leaf, right? And we spray. Let's see here. My sprayer. So here's our hand. Here's our sprayer, and we spray. We cover that whole leaf up, right? And then what we notice is in the next day, or even sometimes within an hour, we'll see this coating on the leaf, right? and we're thinking, we got it made, we're good to go, okay? And then eventually you start seeing cracks in the leaf, and then eventually it's down in the ground and it's down in the soil, and our soil starts getting screwed up. Well, do you know why our soil is getting jacked up? Because we just sprayed something on there that we thought was beneficial to our plant, ended up not being beneficial to the plant, and actually hurt the soil, okay? And you're gonna say, well, how do you, copper fungicides, I've used it my whole life, it's the best thing ever, it gets rid of this and gets rid of that. Have you ever thought to think about this? If your copper, was correct to begin with, you wouldn't have that problem anyhow, right? If you had steady levels of good copper in your soil, in your plants, in your fruit, you wouldn't have that problem to begin with. You wouldn't have the pest problem. You wouldn't have the disease problem, right? You wouldn't have the issues that you're getting with the soil because you sprayed another copper on there, correct? So what I'm trying to get to a lot of you guys, what I want you guys to understand is this stuff, okay? And I've got their copper, I've used their copper. In fact, you can go back to a previous video. I used their copper to stop, now listen, to stop the frost on my plants, okay? Now, what there is there's a bacteria, all right? And I can't remember the name of the bacteria, but there's a bacteria. And that bacteria, what it does is so within your plant, there is this stuff called PSEUDOMONAS SYRINGAE isolate or isotate or something like that, okay? I'll put it right here. And what that does, it's a bacteria and it's on the plants, and it actually causes frost before a frost. Weird, I know, but most of you guys probably don't know this. And so what this does is it's on your leaf, right? Okay, it's on your leaf. It gets cold outside. This is what I'm going to show you. It gets cold outside, but it's not cold enough to freeze. Supposedly, water freezes at 32 or below, right? Well, this stuff can start at higher temperatures, 33, 34, 35 degrees, okay? And this PSEUDOMONAS SYRINGAE isolate or isotate or whatever you want to call it, I'll put it here again. That stuff, what it does is it actually starts freezing before the freeze, okay? Thus, killing your cell walls and damaging your leaves. And which, you know, what happens when your leaves get damaged, your plant goes down, okay? And so what copper does, why copper is benefit to this, is you've got the whole leaf, okay? And it's covered up with all these bacteria, these PSEUDOMONAS or whatever, right? You come through with your copper, underside, above side, you spray the copper on the leaf. And what happens is the copper directly blocks that bacteria. So then on light frosts, even if it's 35, 34, 33 outside, or even 32 or 31, and you get those light frosts, anything that's not a deep freeze, like, you know, say 27 and 20, like 28 and down, right? Which is when you start really getting, and when you hit 25, you really get deep freeze. There's nothing you can do about that. But on your frosts that are like 30 degrees and above, well, there's something you guys could do. So you guys that are growing in the northernmost parts of the country, you guys could really be helping, you know, you guys could get a 2-week jump start when you're like, well, there might be 1 or 2 more frosts and we just got to fend those off. Well, guys, this copper that Opulent Blends has saved crops, okay? There has been farmers that have went out, bought this product, put it on their crops down in Florida when they thought they were out of frost and they were getting ready to have a freeze. They put this stuff on their crops, and it stopped the frost, right? It stopped the harm that frost causes, even if it's a light, you know, just a light frost. Now, I'm not going to tell you that this stuff is going to stop a hard freeze of 28 and down. But when you get those light frosts, 30, 31, 32, and because of these bacteria on your leaf as high as 35. When you guys put this copper on there, you could essentially, I know here in my area, if I would have known that copper did this last year, I could have planted 2 weeks earlier. I could have, because we had cool nights. That's not a problem. Frost is the problem, okay? Cool nights, no big deal. Frost, can't have that. And we have a few cold nights, and the frost was my biggest fear. Whereas if I would have had copper that I knew was systemic, that I knew worked, that I knew if I sprayed it out there would take care of these bacteria that's on the leaves that can freeze at 35, well guys, I would have planted 2 weeks early. I would have planted in the middle of May instead of, or even that 10-day mark of May, get to May 10th and everybody's like, oh, I want to plant, but you wait till June. Well, I could have planted May 10th. Instead of waiting until June like I did, I could have planted 2 weeks earlier, or even 2.5 weeks earlier, and I would have been fine. Okay, now let's say that it has a deep freeze coming, right? Well, you can spray the copper on the plant and then put you a little tent over it, and you would only get a light freeze then, okay, which you would still save your plants, and you could still get out there 10 days early, okay? And it's all because of the copper. All right, it's all because of what these guys have spent time and money and research and development on, and understanding how plants work. Guys, when I tell you that these guys have formulated stuff with growers in mind, I mean they have formed it and formulated it with the grower in mind. They want to ensure that you're successful. They're not just selling you a product and stamping a name on it and saying, here you go, buy it, it might work, or if it works, let us know, right? They're putting this product out there with full confidence in knowing that, one, it's very systemic, two, it works at a high performance rate. Like, I mean, you've got your Corvettes and then you've got your Ferraris, okay? And guys, this stuff here is the Ferrari of fertilizer, all right? And I mean, I don't know any other way to put it. And I'm not just selling this stuff to you guys, like trying to sell it to you so you go out and buy it. I'm telling you what I know, what I've seen, what I've done for myself, and things that I'm going to end up showing you later on down the road as I do these classes on the micronutrients and the macronutrients. I'm going to be showing you guys statistics and all these things that go in correlation with these guys' hard work at Opulent Blends of Prevegenics, so you guys can see for yourself that it's not just me out here trying to, get you guys on board with these guys. It's actual true stuff. It's actually working. It's actually there for you guys to see. The science is there. It backs it. It's proven. And here's the thing. Why would I spend, let's say this. Let's say you guys buy a thing of cow mag, right? That cow mag over there is 32 ounces, okay? Now, why would you buy a cow, and I think it's $18.99 for that bottle of cow mag. So why would I buy a bottle that's a gallon at 64 ounces of cow mag, okay? I use it up in less than a month, right? And see a little to no results. Maybe I see some results, maybe I don't, but I use it, right? Why would I spend $25, $30, $40, $45 on some of these cow mags, okay, when I'm using them in 2-3 weeks, maybe a month, okay, and they're a gallon a jug, when I could spend $18.99 on that bottle over there for 32 ounces, okay? And that 32 ounces lasts me a month or a month and 2 weeks, okay? Depending upon your rate. Now, they could last you even longer than that, okay? Depending on how much you give it. But I can tell you now, that stuff works. I've used 2 different types of cow mag. The one type of cow mag, I seen 0 results with it. Used it all up in less than a month. It was a whole gallon's worth. Didn't see anything. I bought Prevegenics, started using it, lasted me a month, like a month and 2 weeks or something like that, right? And it works. I seen the results. I could definitely tell that I was using cow mag, and the results were there. So why not use it, right? It lasted longer, it costed less, so why not use it, okay? That's what I'm trying to tell y'all with all these products. There are some products that, yes, they might be a little bit on the pricey side, but guess what? Price makes up for the amount that you have to use and the lasting effect, like how long it's going to work in your plant, the how long it's going to last you, because it's that systemic. It works that good. It's just that potent of a product. You're not going to have to worry about buying up a bunch of it all year. You spend out your money at the beginning of the year, you might have to spend some out in the middle of the year. But what I'm trying to tell y'all is these products work. They work great. They're fantastic. You guys are going to be able to save money in the long run, because you're not going to, what you're going to be spending out in for this is going to make up for it in the long run, okay? If that makes sense. What I'm trying to convey here is you guys might spend out, let's say you're spending out $500 now at the beginning of the year. Well, you might spend instead of $500, you might spend $6 or $7. But then instead of a month, month and a half, 2 months later, having to go and spend another $5 or whatever you're spending, you're going to still have this stuff going, right? A month and a half later, okay? You're not going to have to spend it again. Now, you might have to spend a little bit more for some other things, but you're not going to be spending, if you spent, okay, I spent $1,000 this past year. If I would have bought everything through Opulent Blend and Prevegenics, I'd have probably spent $700 through the whole year, because that's how systemic their stuff is, and it would have saved me $300 in the long run. Okay, I'd have spent more at the beginning of it, but it would have lasted longer, and I would have used less of it because it's that systemic. You understand? And I would have had better plants and a better season, and costed less money. That's what I'm trying to convey to you guys. Hopefully, you guys will understand and see it. But we're going to get out here. We're going to fertilize that out there. Let's get on with the rest of the video. Alright guys, so we got everything fertilized. We're staying at a temperature of 70 degrees. So we zoom in there. We're at 70. It's steady, so I don't think I'm going to have to turn the heater on tonight. Temperature feels like it's going to stay up there in the 70s. So that's good. Like I said, come in here today, it was all over 110, almost 120 today. It's way too hot. Everything's looking good. Can't complain. You know, it's crazy that we've had such a great day. It's 70 degrees today, and that we've kept a good temperature out there. Here it is December, and I'm out here in a daggone short sleeve shirt, and it feels like a mid-March day, and I should have had plants growing inside, getting ready to be planted and all that good stuff, and it's just crazy. But guys, I just want to, again, there were some questions that were asked, and I want to answer them real quick. And one of the questions was, could the Mobile Microbes Plus be made in a bigger bag? And the answer is yes. I asked them today if growers that wanted bigger bags than 4 ounces, which is 100 grams, could get a bigger bag than that, and they said absolutely. So they said they could accommodate a 1 pound or a 5 pound bag. And again, they said, like I said, they were saying that they could accommodate a 1 pound or 5 pound bag, which I think is plenty enough. For those of you guys that don't know, the Mobile Microbes Plus that Prevegenics makes, it has Prevegenics live yeast, it has lactobacillus bacteria, it has something else to feed them, as well as a molasses. And hang on, I'll go get it. It is the Mobile Microbes Plus. And you see there, it's got Prevegenics live yeast. It's 332.5 billion CFUs per 100 grams. Lactobacillus species is 20 million CFUs per 100 grams. Hydrolyzed soy protein, 6%. Soluble kelp extract is 4%. And soluble molasses powder is 10%. So, this here says, you can put it on there every 2 to 3 months. As giant growers are, we're probably going to use that. Every month, if not every 3 weeks, right? So they said that again, they could accommodate you guys that have asked if we could get a bigger bag. They're going to get a big. They said yes, they can get a 1 pound bag and a 5 pound bag. They're going to be giving me prices on those 1 pound and 5 pound bags for those of you that were interested in it. I also had some people that were interested in growth hormones, and while there is 5 growth hormones, 5 different types that is, I'm going to put them right here and just put them up there one at a time. That way you guys can see them all while we're talking right here. What we're going to do is we're going to go through all these growth hormones when we start talking about our macro and our micronutrients in school. We're going to go over what each one of them does, but there is theories that each one of them are good in various stages of growth, especially for giant pumpkins. So we want to explore that a little bit deeper. But Prevegenics said that they are familiar with those and that they should be able to get them and be able to grow them. They said they can get together a fish fertilizer. And they also said that they're going to be working on a mycorrhiza. Now the mycorrhiza, I have given them a high bar to shoot for. I gave them RTI and Wow Wonder. I've used both products. Last year I used Wow Wonder. This year I used RTI, the Azos and the Mycos. And guys, I also used the Orca, liquid Orca. So, excuse me. They got a high bar to shoot for. And they're going to either meet the expectations or exceed those expectations. I can guarantee you that. Plus be as cost effective as possible. And again, back to the thing that I was telling you, earlier in the video, I spent $1,000, whereas I could have spent $700 on all Prevegenics products this past year and done away with, several of the other products, right? And saved $300 plus had better growing plants. But that's a different story. Anyhow, they can and are going to come up with a mycorrhiza for us. The other thing that they're going to do is they have a humic and fulvic acid that they're going to be sending me. And I cannot wait to try this humic and fulvic acid. I am excited. They're also going to be sending me a nitrogen. I'm lacking nitrogen, so they're going to put me together a nitrogen. I'm going to be using it. You guys are going to get to see those here first. And here's the other thing. If you doubt these guys and their growing abilities, if you doubt their products and the products' growing abilities, you can go on their Instagram following and tell that they're loved by a lot of growers. And the majority of those growers are, well, not the majority, a good number of those growers are growers that cultivate marijuana. Okay, and as you guys know, marijuana growers are very, very, very picky about what they use and how they use it, and and if it ain't right, buddy, they'll run you through the ringer. Well, evidently Prevegenics is not they're not geared toward that clientele, yet that clientele found Prevegenics and uses them frequently. All right, guys, so that's like Advanced Nutrients. Advanced Nutrients is geared toward marijuana and people use it. Fox Farms, again, kind of geared toward marijuana and people use it. Prevegenics wasn't geared toward that, yet marijuana growers found it and use it extensively. So if you guys doubt their product, just kind of look at that, because anything that marijuana growers use, as giant growers, if we use it, we get the same, if not better, effects for our plants, right? Like we get it was crazy stuff by using that product, right? So if any of you are doubting it, you can go there and kind of look at and see, that's what's going on. So evidently it's good stuff, right? So anyhow, there's a litany of other questions and things that were asked from me, and I asked those today when I talked with the president and maybe the vice president of the company, I think. Anyhow, I talked to them, and that's what we've come up with. They went through everything. The silica. Hopefully, we're going to be getting a silica that is rival to that of the Dynagrow Protect. That would be excellent because, that stuff's really good stuff, right? I gave them my notes to everything that I used and why I used it, how I used it, the effects that it had on my plants, or etc. And hopefully, we're going to come up with a line that's geared toward giant growers. And kind of almost custom fit for giant growing. Okay. Now other growers, of course, are going to be able to use it, but that's kind of going toward that trend. So anyhow, guys, that's what I've got today. Again, I'll make a list of all the questions and the answers that I've gotten about those questions. That way everything's answered and done right. They're going to be sending me stuff that I can set you guys down on, the analytics and everything, and set y'all down and show y'all exactly what's what, the science of everything, right? So y'all can get an in-depth look at this stuff a little bit deeper. Just so much, right? So much that we're going to be dealing with as far as, looking at why these guys are good, and are doing great things and really wanting growers to grow like exceptional stuff, right? So anyhow, if there's any other questions that you guys can think of that y'all would like to ask, all right, just either email me or message me here. Ask the question. I'll write it down. If I don't know the answer, I'll find out from them, okay? If there's anything y'all got a question about on these products, feel free to ask. I'll get with them. I'll ask them what's going on with it and what they think. And if there's anything you guys can think of that nobody else is making right now that you think would benefit, hey, let me know. Yes, guys, I just want to also thank you for building up the channel. Y'all guys have done awesome. We went from 97 subscribers yesterday to 135 today. The last time I checked, maybe over that now. That means so much to me. You guys have helped me tremendously. I'm forever grateful. Thank you guys so much. I also want to tell you that if you want an extra shot at getting that seed, your choice of the Mindy seed, here's how to do it. In case you didn't see earlier, what you guys can do is refer somebody. And the person you refer can subscribe to the channel. And when they come in the comments and say they subscribed, all they have to do is say, well, Joe sent me, okay? And Joe, you're going to get another number, all right, guys? And you're going to be in the drawing for a second time. You'll get you'll get your number that you got the first time, and then you'll get another number. So let's say, Joe, you're number 5, and the person you send over ends up being number 40. Well, then, Joe, you're going to have 41. So then you'll have 5 and 41. You understand how that'll work? So you'll have 2 numbers, and every time you refer somebody, you'll get an additional number. Okay, guys? And so you just keep on building up numbers, and it's just more chances for you to hit to get that Mindy seed. Would you take a look at that beautiful moon up there? Is that not just gorgeous? Zoom in there. That is beautiful. All right, guys, we're out of here. Let's go on to the good night of living. Ain't that beautiful? It's pretty out there as well. Look at that. It's beautiful. Well, guys, we appreciate you watching. We'll see you tomorrow right here in the hollers and hills of West Virginia.
Don't forget to smash that like button. Hit that notification bell. Don't forget to share.
Thank you, good sir.
You're welcome. And subscribe.